Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here, and in this video we're going to be doing a book review of Remnants of Ancient Life, The New Science of Old Fossils by Dale Greenwalt, and I was sent this by Princeton University Press a while ago, so thank you so much for that. And let's just, go ahead and get started. Now, a lot of people love fossils, a lot of people love archaeology, paleontology, and that sort of thing, and I do as well, but this book takes kind of a cool, kind of different slant on kind of the regular kind of fossil or paleontology book. There's a blurb on the back that sums it up quite well. For those who know Steve Brusatte here, The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs, super famous, probably the biggest kind of dinosaur book on the market right now. He's got a cool blurb on the back here that I just want to read. When you think of fossils, your mind likely goes straight to dinosaur skeletons and saber-toothed tiger skulls and ancient seashells. In this readable and engaging book, Dale Greenwalt introduces us to less heralded fossils, microscopic molecules like DNA, proteins, and pigment. Through his relatable prose and stories of discovery, Greenwalt convincingly argues that some of the smallest fossils have the biggest stories to tell. And that's what this book is all about. It's all about different biomolecules that we have kind of uncovered or kind of learned some secrets from in the fossil record. So things, for example, might be different biometals. Like, for example, different insects have different kind of proportions of zinc and manganese and stuff in their mandibles. Things like that, obviously DNA, different proteins, things like chitin, what else? Oh, and different kinds of pigment in regards to both animals and plants. But yeah, we'll get into that in just a second. I usually start with a lot of the pros and then kind of move on to the cons and stuff. This one's going to be a little bit different because there's only a couple little minor cons. I just want to get them out of the way so I can just kind of talk about all the good stuff. One thing is the book definitely deals with a lot of kind of nitty-gritty science stuff, but a lot of times I felt like the author purposely was kind of just avoiding a lot of the real crazy stuff, real technical stuff, to make it very readable. I do feel like in a book like this, Remnants of Ancient Life, dealing with biomolecules and stuff, you're probably going to be willing to accept some of the extra jargon and stuff. And he does a little bit, and I think he probably actually does do a good job in making it very readable, kind of hitting that kind of middle ground. I do feel like a few chapters might have been fleshed out a little bit more, but I think, like I said, he was even acknowledging there's a little bit more on the technical side of things that he didn't really want to necessarily go into in writing and everything, which I guess is that's kind of just a way to do it. But I felt in a couple cases, we probably could have handled it. I don't know, probably not. There was one time where he put in a 10 syllable word, and it was yeah, there's gonna be a quiz at the end, and I was oh yeah, maybe he was right. The only other thing is was dealing with sort of the applications of a lot of this research. I'm all pure and good just for pure science, just learning the information and everything like that. But he does hint at some of the applied sciences that some of these things could be used for. For example, he's talking about different kinds of biometals that we've discovered and everything. Kind of hints at different medical uses and research that's kind of going on, but he never really fully goes into that. And so it's hinted at a lot that this research actually has a lot of really cool practical applications for the current age and everything, but those parts just aren't completely fleshed out in the book. Now let's go on to all the positive stuff. So like I was saying, it deals with a lot of really cool things you don't necessarily think of when you think of fossils, like DNA. So, we have a big discussion on, Jurassic Park, essentially. Can we actually get dino DNA from, old insects and things like that? And basically, the answer is no, you can't. DNA just doesn't work quite like that. Doesn't always come down to us in, a pure, usable form. But one thing I did really enjoy is, for example, back when I was in college and stuff, when we did polymerase chain reaction and stuff to kind of amplify DNA strands and everything, he kind of goes into a lot of the different high-tech, actual research equipment and stuff and processes that they actually use in the laboratories and everything, X-ray spectroscopy and everything. And he kind of tells you how this actually works and how it's used and how you get the results and everything, which I actually did find pretty fascinating. So I did enjoy that. Now, you're also dealing with, for example, dinosaur feathers are included, kind of dealing with different pigments and everything. It is kind of cool how we can learn basically different plants, animals, I guess they were all vertebrates. I don't remember any pigments on like any of the insect ones that they were talking about, but like different like snakes, for example, that they've discovered, but they can actually recreate the scale patterns and colors of the snakes with like 90 plus whatever % accuracy. I just find that really, really fascinating. It does kind of show how a lot of our like old thoughts on like dinosaurs being like kind of like just the pure smooth skin reptiles and everything, probably not accurate and everything like that. So I definitely enjoy that. But it was kind of cool learning too about actual fossil sites. For example, there's like this site called the Clarkia fossil site where you can like it's literally just a hillside full of leaves and slate essentially. But the leaves are from, I can't remember if it was the Carboniferous. I guess it wasn't Carboniferous. Can't remember what epoch it is, but you can literally just like crack open a bunch of rocks, and he said you will just go home with like tons of free fossils, and the only things you can't keep are if they're like completely brand new to the site or whatever. But he was kind of going with like some friends and everything that are also researchers, and they would show how they could like basically work it and bring back their like original color, even if it was just like very briefly and stuff. I just found that really interesting, and he kind of deals with a few other I guess scientific modes of study, and how sometimes because they're not working together, for example some of the like paleontology of people that study like pollen caissons and stuff, and then like the botanists that just study the plants and everything, since they don't always work together, they're missing out on like a few things, because like pollen spores hold very well in the record and everything, just because they're almost like indestructible in a way. I just found that really interesting, kind of like bringing a whole bunch of different fields together and kind of showing, this is stuff we still need to work on. This is like kind of stuff we're doing actually pretty good on. It's just like, the media kind of skews everything into a bunch of crazy stuff. But anyways, if you enjoy fossils, if you enjoy like I said, dinosaurs actually have a pretty decent spot in here. Like he kind of goes into like all the methodologies and errors back in like, I think it was like the late 90s, early 2000s, when they kept saying like we have like dino DNA and everything, but it really was just like contamination of of the source material and everything. He kind of goes into that quite a bit. But like I said, if you enjoy paleontology, study of dinosaurs, study of just fossils in general, definitely pick up this book. It's a very good kind of complement to just kind of like a lot of like the bones and shells that you read about in a lot of other books. Like I said, it's all about the biomolecules, which at first I was like, but it was actually really, really interesting, and I highly enjoyed it. Very readable. Like I said, he definitely writes in a way that's meant to be as like readable as possible for the reader, without not really talking down. Like he just purposely avoids like some of the really technical stuff, but he's not talking down to the reader either. So I like I said, that was probably more of a personal preference on my point, knocking it a little bit on that. But anyways, I think you'll really enjoy it if you like fossils and paleontology and that sort of thing, or if you just kind of like scientific methodology. I found that part really interesting as well. So yeah, definitely check out Remnants of Ancient Life, and thank you so much to Princeton University Press for sending me that. Let me know what you think of fossils and paleontology in this book down below, and if you've got any good books on either dinosaurs or fossils, archaeology, kind of stuff like that, leave a comment down below so I can go check out some more cool books in that area of study. And always remember, whether you're reading about paleontology or not, read victoriously.